in our forested lands or our wildland areas that are overgrown, are unhealthy, are extremely dry. And so ensuring that our ecosystems at a landscape level are also addressed. And so it really is not a one solution. We have to do all of these things. Focus on the response and fire suppression resources, preparing our communities, hardening them, becoming more resilient, but also addressing our overall forest health.
Well, to that point then, is for example, would one simple solution moving forward, if we're going to modernize our grid or modernize our infrastructure, could, for example, when we have inevitable high winds from the Santa Ana winds, is it smart moving forward to build transformers and put power lines underground? Is that something that we should be doing moving forward?
Hardening our grid, whether it be undergrounding or with materials that are less likely to cause a spark, but also vegetation management around our utility infrastructures are all critical components. Now, the state and particularly our major utilities have done a lot in this space. In fact, we have an entire new department that regulates making sure that our utilities are planning for hardening their systems, undergrounding their systems, and holding them accountable to doing that. Now, while we don't know yet exactly the cause of these fires, we know that we have done a lot to make sure that we are reducing the sparks caused by utility infrastructure and holding our utilities accountable to making sure that the vegetation around their facilities, around their lines are cleared, so it reduces the likelihood that if something goes wrong. Remember, these are hurricane-like winds. 80 to 100 mile an hour winds, of course, are going to knock down power lines and other infrastructure. That if that happens, and when that happens, that they don't actually have any vegetation around them to spark a fire. Obviously, undergrounding does that by the course of nature of having it underneath the ground. It's not susceptible to the weather conditions, but that's very costly. And so there is a big mixture of things that the state has done to focus on making sure our utilities are more resilient towards the climate, but also to overall reduce their ignition of wildfires like we have seen since really the 2017 and a number of years between then and now.
I mean, to your point about it being costly, yes, again, it's costly, but like not more costly than the devastation that we're seeing right now. I mean, I know again that the refrain that we're going to hear, especially from folks whose job it is to allocate funds, is that how are we going to afford it? But my pushback to that is how can we afford not to do it? I mean, what's the cost of not doing this stuff? We are recording this right now on Friday, January 10th. As of now, what's the degree of containment for these fires, especially the Palisades and the Eaton fires, which are the largest?
Yeah, despite strong wind conditions continuing, red flag warnings today, our firefighters are making progress. The Palisades fire, which is in the Pacific Palisades, Topanga Canyon area, has burned just over 20,000 acres. It now is 8% contained. That is up. There was no containment as of last night. Over in the Pasadena area, north of Los Angeles, Pasadena, Altadena, the Eaton fire has burned just under 14,000 acres. And crews have done a really good job of slowing the spread of that fire, though containment right now is only at 3%. But let me end here with a really good news. Yesterday, we had a new fire break out called the Kenneth Fire in the West Hills area of Los Angeles and Ventura counties. Quickly burned 1,000 acres. A strong initial attack on the ground and in the air. We've been able to hold that fire at check, and today it is 35% contained. The forward spread of that fire as well has started. Now, over the next couple of days, we'll continue to see those containment numbers go up, but we are expecting the winds to continue to be very strong into the weekend. And we actually could see a Santa Ana wind event early next week. And so we'll be preparing to ensure that we not only can hold the containment lines that we've been working so hard to build, but also be ready to respond to new fires that break out, again, with these weather conditions and the extreme fire risk.
So I know folks are watching and perplexed at how for days the containment could just be a few percentage points, 8%, 3%. Can you shed some light onto that? How, I believe that these first sparked, I think the first fire was the Palisades fire that sparked either late morning on Tuesday. And so can you give some insight into how, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, 4 days now this thing has been raging, that we can be at 8%?
On Tuesday, when the Palisades fire broke out, fanned by those, again, hurricane level winds, it quickly was able to spread as firefighters were responding in. Their main focus was life safety, just evacuating residents. And so that often can be the case in these fast moving fires in urban areas, is we have to focus on rescues, getting people just out of the area, and then begin our attack. The other challenge that hampers us when we have 80 to 90-mile-an-hour winds is our aircraft is not only ineffective, but it's not safe. And so that's a tool then that can't fight the fire. So our firefighters on the ground are helping evacuations. The aircraft were not able to fly. And so that really hampers our efforts towards containment. Once, though, we're able to get people evacuated, it really allows firefighters to focus on going direct on a fire, starting to build containment lines. Fortunately, yesterday, the wind started to die down, and that's when we really hit it hard. All these fires hit them hard from the air with our aircraft, our air tankers, our helicopters, the National Guard. We are throwing everything at it, and that is what is allowing us to start to see those containment numbers go up. But it is not unusual in situations like this, in urban fires like this, that in the first 24, 48 hours, that we're not simply focused on saving people's lives.
So I live about a mile from the Sunset Fire that was in the Hollywood Hills, and obviously it was beyond grateful to see how quickly that one was contained, and that one since has been contained to 100%. Why the difference between the containment between that fire, the Sunset Fire, versus a fire like the Palisades?
There are so many complexities to where's the fire start? Where are the available resources? Now, we pre-positioned fire resources. We increased our staffing going in to this week's fire danger. We brought fire equipment and firefighters from Northern California down to Southern California. But you never know when a fire is going to break out, where that spark is going to be. And so that can hamper the response. Luckily, with the Sunset Fire, by the time it broke out, really on day 2, the night of day 2 of this fire siege, the aircraft was able to fly. So we were able to use our newly invested money into night flying helicopters to really make an aggressive attack on that fire that night. And that's what really held that one at bay, where the other ones were able to obviously burn at an explosive rate. So there's weather factors, there's the complexity of homes in the immediate area. Those are always the things that come into play of how quickly we can get at scene of a fire.
You'd mentioned being able to use these new aircrafts. You'd mentioned firefighters coming down from Northern California. What's the scope of the assistance that we're getting down here in Southern California? From where are firefighters coming? Is it across? Is it just contained within the state? Is it other states that are sending firefighters in? Are we seeing firefighters from other countries coming in?
We are fortunate here in California to have the most robust firefighting mutual aid system, arguably, in the world. We also here in California own and operate at CAL FIRE the largest wildland aerial fleet in the world. And so many of the firefighters are local. They're the first ones at the scene. The City of Los Angeles Fire Department, LA County Fire Department, Ventura County Fire Department, our CAL FIRE resources in Southern California. But every fire department in every corner of the state was requested to send assistance. Today, Friday, we have more than 8,000 firefighters, law enforcement officers, emergency support services at scene of these fires. But we've been bringing in resources from many of our western states. Oregon has sent hundreds of firefighters down to us. Colorado, Washington, Idaho, New Mexico, Nevada, the list goes on. A lot of firefighting resources from other states. What's really, it is so unfortunate what is happening right now. But the fact that we're in January experiencing these conditions, the rest of the nation is not in the typical fire season. And so fortunately, we were really able to get a lot of resources from our neighboring states who are not experiencing the same conditions as Southern California. We're also, though, talking to our international partners, British Columbia, for one. We've been doing a lot of work with them over the last several years. And the British Columbia Wildfire Services is sending incident managers over to help support us as well. And so really, arguably, this is an international response to aid us, though in California, again, with our local, state, federal, tribal firefighting force, we've got a lot of firefighters on the front lines right now.
Okay, so let's pivot to a different section here, because there have been a lot of rumors and misinformation floating around. So I'm hoping you can address some of this. Right off the bat, Donald Trump suggested onto Truth Social that Gavin Newsom should have opened some sort of spigot from Northern California to Southern California to allow water to flow. Can you speak on